This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the COR live demo. This is Victoria here. I'm going to be your host today. I see we got a couple of attendees already, but we'll wait a few more minutes, no more than 5, to get started. And please make the most out of this experience by commenting, participating. You can drop your messages in the chat or in the Q&A space so we can tackle your doubts afterwards. We'll wait a few minutes for the rest of the attendees. Thank you. In the meantime, you can drop your messages and tell us where are you from. I noticed in the attendee list that we got people from Dubai, New York, Spain as well. So please don't be shy and drop your messages so we know where are you from. Everyone's hearing me perfectly, right? Switzerland, awesome, lovely. Hi, Roman from Israel. Nice. We got people from all over the world. That's awesome. The power of webinars, right? We'll wait a few more minutes. Nigeria. Great. Oh, I just saw from Italy. Lovely. Most of the people from the EMEA region I'm seeing, which makes sense because of the time frame. Egypt, nice. Quite a lot of different countries, awesome. We'll wait 2 more minutes and we can start with a live demo. Again, you can use the chat or the Q&A so we can tackle your doubts afterwards. We should put a little bit of music in this 5-minute period so as to entertain. One minute. I'm as anxious as you are. And we can start with the session. And I told you we were going to wait 5 minutes, so here we are. Welcome to our COR live demo. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. This is Victoria here. I'm the EMEA Solutions Consultant for COR. originally from Buenos Aires, Argentina, but I'm currently living in Spain, so you'll get my accent now, which is quite hybrid. And well, first of all, I wanted to thank you all for joining this live demo. The idea of this meeting is to do a brief overview of the solution and of course show you how we've been helping other agencies across the globe solve the same concerns that you may be facing today. We can solve all different industries concerns, so that's what we're here for. We will love for you to please take advantage of this session and write down all the doubts you want to participate and have the confidence to get any questions you have regarding COR, regarding the utilization of it. And yeah, at the end, we're going to try and tackle them all. So excellent. Okay, now let's get started. Yeah, here's the agenda for this session. First of all, a brief definition of COR, what we got to offer, our purpose, let's say, of life. Then we're going to see the live platform overview, where you'll get to sense the UX, UI, and the workflow of its usage. And at last, we're going to, as I mentioned several times, we're going to have a space to hopefully tackle all your doubts that may arise during the session, may arise from your experience. So please feel free to reach out through the session, through the chat or the Q&A space. So let's get moving then. First of all, I wanted to give you an overview of what's COR. What is COR? Well, COR is a all-in-one vertical project profitability solution created by agency and marketing people and created specifically for the agency and marketing industry. And why do I say it's a vertical solution? Because it actually tackles these industry particular concerns, from time tracking, resource allocation, deviations, in order to identify if you're estimating the cost of your projects in the right amount of hours, and being able to identify how the profitability side of your operations are flowing. Yeah, not only on a company level, so an overall agency level, but on a client level as well, to identify if that relationship is as healthy as we anticipated. And you could also visualize the profitability side of things at a project level as well. Yeah, so as to make better business decisions based on how your teams are progressing against their duties. So I know you're super anxious, as I am, to get to know the platform. So let's get straight to business, because that's what we're here for. I'm going to share the instance that hopefully you're seeing what I'm seeing. Welcome officially to COR. Before we start with the demo itself and the workflow, I'd like to mention what I call some terms and conditions regarding what we'll be seeing. First, this is a demo instance, so you may find that data is fictitious. Some scenarios can get a little bit exaggerated, but it's just for you to get the whole idea of the tool. Secondly, we're going to see everything from a C-level perspective with no visibility restrictions. We're going to see highly confidential information that on a daily basis, your team members would not have access to. We got 6 roles within the system. The C-level, that is the one that I'm using today, director, PM, collaborator, client, and freelancer with their own specific access in terms of regarding their day-to-day operations. And we're going to see, first of all, the C-level perspective, yeah, from the metrics perspective, let's say. Then we're going to see the solution from a PM perspective. We're going to create a project. We're going to assign our team members based on their skills, based on their roles, based on their capacity. And at last, we're going to see how team members are going to receive their briefings, their tasks, and how they're going to track their hours against their duties. Yeah. So as I mentioned, we're going to start from the metric side, which is, oh, we got a new feature, which is the way for you to make better business decisions. And this is where you'll get to understand why I previously said that COR is not just a project management tool, but a project profitability tool. It goes a little bit beyond the traditional Trello, Asana, Monday type of tool, because we consider the hourly cost of your team members and how they're going to affect the profitability side of things as well. So here we got the financial overall situation of the agency. Let's say it's like a P&L. Well, first of all, you got the budget that can be from any retainer fees or one-shot projects that we already had assigned and related to specific clients and projects, minus the hourly cost that it's automatically calculated by user cost and how they're tracking their time, minus additional costs that can be any external costs such as materials, subscriptions, transportation, beverages, whatever extra costs you may have within the project, plus the overhead that it's the fixed cost of the agency, for example, for paying the rent. Yeah, that would not affect specifically the revenue or the, let's say, the ROI of a specific project or client, but of course it would affect the overall returns and profitability of the agency. Yeah, this is a summary and a summary of all your team members' efforts and how they're working within the system. You could filter these by client, where you'll get to obtain the returns, and by project by client as well, so as to have a much more clear vision towards what's going on. I'm not going to dive into every single dashboard because we can be here for a couple of hours, but I wanted to show you this list of clients with the better profitability in terms of percentage versus the list of clients with the best results in terms of revenue. These may not necessarily be the same, because you may have a client that represents 50% of your revenue, but it's consuming 80% of your resources. That's where you'll get to see if the relationship is healthy and as profitable as you planned. Then we're going to see the Insights tab, which is basically a BI solution embedded into COR, where you'll get to understand the company month-over-month returns, the profits, project total incomes versus project total costs, and company deviation overall. What do we mean with this? This company deviation is basically a way for us to understand how well or how bad we were estimating the cost of our projects, yeah, in terms of hours. You can see over here that we made an initial estimation of this amount of hours, but we actually invested this. We got a slight deviation, which is the difference between these two, yeah, a slight deviation that is basically saying that the services provided have taken less time than estimated, and the invested costs have been lower than those estimated. Yeah, our teams are basically accomplishing their tasks in a much more faster way than we anticipated, which is great for our profitability side of things. Then you'll get to see the information in a much more granular way, client's perspective, where you'll get to see their breakdown with their project income, hourly costs, additional costs, and the profitability side of our clients as well. How do we calculate this profitability? Well, for every single project that we got related to one specific client, we're going to have a start date and we're going to have an end date. And within a project, we're going to set a couple of tasks that we need to develop in order to have an overall successful project. What we do at first, at COR, is that we estimate a certain amount of hours for those tasks that are going to be involved in that project. So once we assign those tasks to our team members, we're going to measure or experience these famous deviations that we just talked about. If we estimate a task was going to take 2 hours, but our team members are taking longer, maybe 4 hours, the profitability is going to decrease. Yeah, because the invested costs were higher than the ones we estimated. If we take less time than estimated, well, the profitability is going to increase. Yeah, that's why it's important to track your hours against your duties. For us to have this type of visibility, for us to make better business decisions out of every single project, every single client, and as an overall company as well. Then you'll get to see hours logged by client. Let's say, which is the most demanding client within the agency, in which we are spending a lot of time, the percentage. You could download every single dashboard from CSV, Excel, and JSON. And as you may see, and as I told you before, we got a lot of different dashboards for you to plan in a much more accurate way. It's a typical scenario that in agencies, we tend to make decisions based on intuition rather than on accurate metrics. So this is what we come to solve with COR. Then you'll get to see the overall view per project as well. You could filter these by specific client from a certain date to a certain date, project status, project overview, projects overview per client. Well, we got open projects, finished projects, open tasks, and finished tasks as well. Then we got what we call reworks. Not sure if you're familiar with this concept. You can drop a message in the chat that we separate into 2 scenarios. Internal rework, when you assign a team member maybe that that didn't got the know-how so as to accomplish that task, and you need to redo that task once again. Of course, that's your responsibility. You cannot charge the client for that. But then we got the client rework, which is one of the most frequent. Let me know your thoughts about it in the chat as well. So here, this is crucial, and not every single agency is measuring the client's rework. Why is crucial? Because first of all, it's going to provide us like a red flag in terms of client satisfaction. If a client asks for 10 reworks during one project, well, maybe something's not flowing as smooth as we thought, yeah? Or maybe your team is not performing the way they should. This is not going to affect the profitability side of things, of course, because we are investing much more time that was out of the initial scope. It's going to affect your team members' agendas. They're going to be overloaded by work because of the extra changes that the client may have. And this is great for you to have the conversation with the client. Make them conscious about their impact they're generating every time they ask for a minimum modification. So this KPI, it's awesome for improving transparency with your client's relationship as well. Then you'll get to see overview per project, and at last, from the most micro perspective, how people are investing their time and the performance overall. Again, I started with the end because I know you may be wondering, how do we put up all this information? Where are the inputs? We are going to see that right away. Here, we got the people's, as I mentioned, how they're investing their time, logged hours per day per user. These are the roles that I mentioned before that you got within the system. And I wanted to emphasize on this dashboard because it's quite interesting. This dashboard summarizes 3 different variables that manifest your user capacity. First of all, available hours. You may have a part-timer that would only have 4 hours availability per day. And of course, they're going to get much more rapidly saturated by work than a full-timer, for example. Then we got the estimated amount of hours, the task we assign to them with the estimation we previously made, and versus logged hours. Yeah. So you can analyze over here who's completely overloaded by work. Yeah. So you can delegate effectively, taking into account your team's agendas. Who's doing nothing at all? Who's having a lot of free time? So as to maybe train them so they can accomplish another discipline that is mostly required within the agency. And if you need to hire someone new, well, make sure you're covering, again, the most required skills within the agency, yes? So as to make the best ROI out of every single user. So you can see over here, logged hours per team as well. We got a customer success team that is going to help you with the onboarding of the platform. They are the actual experts, and they implemented this tool for all agencies across the globe. So they got the best practices in how to solve specific use cases. Okay, so we are going to help you with the onboarding of it. Moving forward, we got how to generate this information. Yeah, which is the most interesting part of this demo in my perspective. So first of all, we're going to create the users. Yeah, in this fake instance, we got 11 users. Yeah, I'm going to show you how to set up only one, which is Catherine Taylor Duke's profile. You can see that she's part of the C-level, so she has allowed access to specific things. This is 100% customizable based on your use cases. You may have 2 C-levels. One of them has allowed access to several projects. Another one has allowed access to salaries, for example. That depends on how you like to manage your operations. And let's change Kath to a collaborator. You can see that the access had been much more restricted based on her role. Now, we'll get to see the employee information. This is crucial for us to set Catherine's agendas and availability. Yeah. First of all, we're going to define the monthly hours availability, daily hours availability. As I mentioned before, you may have a part-timer that would only have 4 hours availability per day. And they're going to get much more rapidly saturated by work. And then we got 2 different factors, which are crucial for us to understand the cost of the project in which Catherine is going to invest her time. Yeah, this is the cost that Kath represents to the agency. And this is going to be divided by the hourly rate. Okay, so every time Kath invest 1 hour, this is going to be computed within that project as an additional cost. Then we got a few niche things, such as defining different schedules per day. You may have Friday flex, and if Kath leaves the office at 1 p.m. and she gets a task at 3 p.m. on Friday, she's going to be saturated by work. She's not going to be able to accomplish that. So this is basically it. Again, we're going to have our customer success team to import this information for yourselves. So the onboarding of the platform, it's quite easy. You could also define a couple of teams by grouping your users, account managers, creative department, development department. This is especially for metric purposes. So you can understand which is the most overloaded team which is the best performing team, etc., etc. We got a few, for example, holding companies that got their branches within the system, and they get to measure which is the most profitable branch within the system as well, which is quite awesome. And now, as I showed you, as I mentioned, we're going to see how to create a brand new project, how we are going to assign every single team member, and how they're going to receive their task. Yeah. If you got any questions, please feel free to drop them on the chat. I just jumped to the project templates tab, which is a great way for you to standardize all the services you provide as an agency. Right here, we created 5 different services. I like to call them skeletons because you'll get to define all the task by task and the sequence that this project is going to be needed to be accomplished. So you can see over here, we got 1 service. The first task is idea creation. The second task is plan and assign. And we already made an estimation in terms of hours. Yeah, you could create as many project templates as you like based on the services you offer within the agency. We may have development projects, lead generation projects. Even some of my clients standardize their onboarding process for new hirings. So they got the first task, it's meeting the C-level. The second task, it's visualizing a couple tutorial videos. You may define as many project templates as you like. But here, what I wanted to show you is this skeleton for this specific service, digital marketing. Not only that, but you'll get to define the time frame. Yeah, how long you think this project is going to take. Why do we do this? In order to create a project out of something and not to create a project out of nothing, well, you'll have to create the task by task manually every time you close a new deal. Yeah, so we create a base for you to import all that information, all the structure. And now we're going to create a brand new project out of that preset templates. Let's going to put a random name, ad campaign. We're going to select the client that we want to relate this project to. Let's go with this one. And of course, you could create a project out of nothing where you'll have to create manually the task by task. Or let's go with the shortcut, which is selecting the preset templates that we've been seeing. Let's go with digital marketing, which was the project that I showed you before. And within just 4 clicks or 3, I think it was, we're going to have a brand new project. Yeah, you can see that it has the structure that we defined from the preset template. It's already related to the client we selected, of course. And we also got the time frame from the preset template as well. Of course, every client is a brand new world, so services may change. You may change the time frame over here. This is 100% customizable and flexible. If you want to delete a couple of projects or tasks, you may delete them right from here. If you want to add new tasks, you can add them right away. Yeah, so this is customizable. Right here, you'll get to see I've been assigned as a PM because I created a project. So I'm going to be responsible for it. And not only that, but you'll get to see there's a couple of team members that have been automatically assigned to the task that we defined. How did we do that? From the preset template as well. You could select a couple of team members that are most suitable for accomplishing that specific task. So once you create a project from the preset template, they're going to be assigned. Yeah. If you don't want to assign anyone. Automatically, you can leave that space in blank and then you add a collaborator once the project is open. You can see another fun fact over here, which is the circle around the avatar of our team members. You can check that some of them are in green, some of them are in yellow, some of them are in red. This manifests their capacity towards these days that you need this task to be accomplished. As you may realize, we got a couple of team members that are completely overloaded by work. What we do is that we're going to delegate this to another resource that has the availability so as to accomplish that specific task. Yeah, and just like that, I delegated, taking into account their agendas. If you'd like to add more than one user per task as well, you may do it. No problem at all. Yeah, and remember, we made an estimated amount of hours for this task. If you want to assign more hours to one user than another user, you may distribute over here how long they have to invest over this task. Okay, please feel free to write down your comments, your doubts, whatever you need. We created a project. We assigned every single team member based on their skills, based on their roles, based on their capacity. We can also see over here discount view, which is perfect for sharing with your clients, where they get to see in a much more visual way how things are progressing, yeah, on the timeline of the project as well. You can see that there's a couple of arrows between one task and another. This means that these tasks are codependent. Yeah, so you may need to first finish the first task in order to move forward with the following. And if the first task has been delayed due to some reason, well, the rest of the project is going to be adjusted. Okay, you can see that all these tasks are brand new, which makes totally sense because we just created the project. They're all in 0% and they're all in blue. We're going to see that that color from the Gantt chart by user. We got several different status by task as well. And I told you several times about the profitability side of things, right? So let's get into the profitability side of this project. Here, we got two different scenarios. The projected profitability based on our initial estimation. Yeah. First of all, we got what we quote the client, the revenue we'll be generating out of this project, minus the hourly cost of our team members, the ones we assign to the task we open, multiplied by the hourly cost of the invested hours, minus additional costs. Yeah, so we understand beforehand, and if things work as smooth as we anticipated in the first place, that this project is going to be 70% profitable. Okay, this is based on our initial estimation, assuming our estimation is accurate. Yeah, but then we got the current situation. The current situation, which is 100% profitable, because we haven't logged any hours yet. Yeah, none of our team members actually logged their hours within their duties, within their tasks. So here is where you'll get to experiment these famous deviations that we just talked about. The difference in terms of hours of the invested hours versus logged hours. Yeah, and you'll get to receive different alerts if you're taking a lot of time into a task that was going to take only 20 minutes. Well, you're going to receive an alert that things are not progressing as smooth as you anticipated. Okay, and maybe the profitability side of this project is under risks. Moving forward, we got the Gantt chart that I mentioned. Here you'll get to see all the task by team member, the ones that they have been assigned to on a weekly basis, bi-weekly basis, monthly, as you may like to see it. And as I mentioned before, we got the reference of the different colors that manifest the status of this task. Yeah, the blue one, which we already saw, that's the status brand new. Then we got yellow, which is in progress, red one, which is under corrections, the purple one, which is in review, and then we got the green one, which is finished. Yeah, and this is great not only for you to understand in which task every single team member is working on, but the status of them, and you'll get to delegate a couple of tasks over here as well with just a drag and drop. If you've seen Peter Smith, it's a little bit overloaded by work. You can drag this task and delegate it to Ali Jamieson. Yeah, and you can see that Ali Jamieson was green. Her capacity was at green, so she was quite free. Now we assign a new task and she turned to yellow status. Yeah, and you can see this is perfect for planning future projects as well, because you'll get to see the following weeks and your team members' agendas, and if you need to come with extra resources for accomplishing a new project, for example. Yeah, you could filter these by team, you could filter these by tasks that are on hold, for example, as you may like, so as to have a much more clean vision towards what's going on. Yeah. Moving forward, we got the project's overall side of things. I just filter this by active projects, that's it. But you could filter these by projects that are related to one specific client, projects that are led by one specific PM, as you may like. Yeah. So here we got some happy faces that you may be wondering or not. What is manifesting these happy, neutral, sad faces? Well, these faces are manifesting the health of the project. If things are moving the way we anticipating, if things are flowing, if there's not any huge deviation in terms of invested hours, we're going to have a happy face like this. That is basically suggesting that the project it's doing all right, the projected profitability is aligned with your goal. But then we got a different scenario, which is the sad face, that's saying that the projected profitability is under your goal. Things are not moving forward as you anticipated in the first place. Maybe you're spending a lot of time into things that were going to be quite easy. Maybe you're not reaching your deadlines. So the system is going to identify on your behalf which are the projects that may be in trouble. Yeah. So I showed you a brand new project, the one we created ourselves, which is this one. But now I wanted to show you the internal side of an already started project, which is a much more robust scenario where we got some tasks that are brand new, some tasks that are completely finished, some tasks that are in progress. Let's check the profitability side of this project. You can see that we already logged some hours. Yeah, our team members track their hours against their duties. And here you'll get to see the tasks with more deviations. The task with more deviations. First of all, we got the estimated amount of hours per task and what we actually invested. Yeah, in this case, we estimated 2 hours, but we invested almost 13, which is a tragic scenario. The second task, the same, content development. We estimated 2 hours, but we actually spent almost 13. There's several variables why this may happen. I'm assuming you got more information than I have towards all the variables that may generate this type of deviation. Maybe you assigned a wrong team member, didn't get the know-how, it took ages for them to accomplish the task. Maybe the client is asking for a lot of reworks and it's generating a delay in the task. Again, several reasons. Or maybe we anticipated or we estimated wrongly from the start, which generates a lot of different problems. First of all, as I've been repeatedly saying, it's going to affect the profitability side of this project because we're investing much more time than estimated. But not only that, your team members are going to work far more hours than the one you estimated to them. So they're probably working between a lot of different tasks at the same time. They're going to work across several different projects at the same time. So if you anticipated badly from the beginning, they're going to be completely overloaded by work, which is something that unfortunately happens a lot in this type of industry. Yeah, team members stay working until late hours, maybe because we made a bad estimation. Okay, so again, not only for taking care of the profitability side of things, your margins, but for taking care of your team's agendas as well. So moving forward, I wanted to show you the last part of the session, which is from a collaborator perspective. Yeah, how team members are going to receive their tasks and how will they know what they need to accomplish on a daily, weekly basis. So here we got tasks. There's several ways for visualizing this. It depends on the user and how they like to visualize things. In this case, we got the COR view that is organized by the status of every single task that I've been assigned to. And then you can get to my task that it's by default organized chronologically, but I made a few changes over here. Yeah, I put the task with the highest priority at the beginning, so they got all my attention. Yeah, but you can see I've been assigned to a lot of different tasks. So let's go, let's dive into one task so we can take a look at a task from the inside. First of all, of course, we got the description, the briefing. I already know that this task is related to this project and related to this client, best agency. You could create subtasks, so you could involve another team member so they can provide something within this task as well. Of course, they are not collaborators by default, but you may involve them. Then we got a message stuff what we do here is that we empower you to keep every single interaction towards that is related to this task in the same space. Yeah. Why? Because it's a typical case that you communicate with your team members through WhatsApp, through Zoom, through Gmail, a lot of different messaging systems. So what we do here is that we make you share all your progressions, all your interactions within the same space. So everyone's 100% aligned towards what's going on, what needs to be done. And so as to avoid this type of daily calls, weekly calls, so as to understand the status of every single task as well. So you would only jump over this and realize that things are moving forward, or maybe you just need to give an extra hand, as we're seeing over here. Right here, you'll get to mention your colleagues, you'll get to share files, and as I showed you, you'll get to mark your reworks. If it is internal, if it is mainly your responsibility or your team's responsibility of requested by the client. Let's say the client asked for a change banner design, a random example. That is going to be reflected here. Yeah, some of my clients provide access to their clients so they can have a much more active role towards what's going on as well. They can provide feedback in near real time. They can approve, reject, whatever, every piece of communication. We got integration with Google Drive, OneDrive, and Dropbox. So you can share all your files right from here. And there's also a historical information to realize how things were moving. Yeah, who changed a file, who deleted a file, it's all going to be kept here. And now we got the million-dollar question that I know you may be wondering. How do we make our collaborators log their hours? Yeah, this is a crucial pain for any billable hour industry because people hate logging hours. They feel control. They usually forget to do it. But we need this input to be as accurate as possible so as to estimate for the future in a much more accurate way, so as to take care of our margins, so as to take care of their agendas as well for the future. See, it's so all like a virtuous or vicious circle, it depends where you're seeing it, that team members, again, hate doing it. So we developed several ways for them to track their hours within this task. First of all, the timer, the most traditional way of tracking hours. Not my favorite. Then they'll be able to track their hours. Oops, sorry. I just clicked the escape button to track their hours where these were the tasks that we've been seeing. There you'll get to log your hours manually. Here we are. Or you could also add 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. It depends on the amount of time it took you to accomplish this task. But then we got my favorite way, tracking hours, because 80% of team members that need to log their hours, they forget to do it. So COR developed a way to identify every time a user is working within the system. Yeah, and it's going to identify on their behalf in which task they've been working on and how long it took them to accomplish that task towards one specific date based on their interactions within the system. So every time I share a file, I mark my progression, I exchange messages with my team colleague, all going to be measured by the system. So the system is going to suggest the amount of hours or minutes that I've been spending towards that specific task. You can see that today I haven't logged any hours. So the system is telling me that I've been jumping, as I showed you, from one task to another. And it's telling me it took you 8 minutes from today to accomplish or move forward with this task. So you can accept the recommendation, and that's going to be computed in the weekly chart. Yeah, or you could also accept all suggestions, and you could also go back to last week. Like over here, I got a great insight. I forgot to look at my hours on Friday. The system is telling me that I've been spending 4 hours on this task, which is awesome, again, for team members that forget to look at hours. Yeah, it's going to be life-saving. Then you'll get to see the timesheet per user. Yeah, so as to analyze the invested hour per day in which task they've been working on, or which projects. And if you like to see, let's say, a bird's eye view of how teams were spending their time as well, you can see it. Yeah, in this case, take a look at this. Denise forgot to log her hours on this day. So we can send a reminder to her so she can log her hours. In this case, I'm assuming she's going to enter my hours and she's going to be accepting the recommendations that the system provided. Yeah. And then if you'd like to see in a much more granular way, the amount of hours, in this case, Melissa spent towards one client, you may filter this. In this case, I haven't logged any hours. I haven't been working towards Oceanic Airlines. Yeah, and if you want to measure the invested hours, Victoria or Melissa in this case, be spending on one category, you may do it as well. You can see the summary over here, and I get to see the hourly cost of the summary because I got the C-level role. Yeah, but on a daily basis, collaborators would not have a lot of access to it. Yeah, and this is a huge summary. Of course, I didn't show a couple of features, but I think I showed you the most important ones. And I wanted to deep dive into your questions now that I know you got a bunch of them. Yeah. So here I'm reading your comments from the Q&A. Please, I encourage you to keep asking so we can tackle your doubts. Over here. Do people can be in more than one team? Yes, definitely. Because you may have a creative that's being part of 2 different branches, for example. Yes, we could definitely do that. Perfect. Love the internal reworks. Yes. So as you understand, team performance as well. If someone made a mistake, we can realize by the internal reworks. And we could also understand the invested hours that were consumed by client reworks or internal reworks as well. Any further questions? Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Agus, for sharing these docs. We got complementary information for you to deep dive into specific features. Again, we got a customer success team, we got a support team, we got a huge team for you to be able to tackle all your doubts. Yeah, we got a COR Academy site, not sure if you saw it before, but it's a space for you to deep dive into specific features within COR. It's completely for free, you can access right away, where you'll find mini tutorials videos of the usage of the platform. And thank you, Agus, for sharing these case studies as well. You can take a look at them. We got from some holding companies and from some independent companies as well. Does COR support other languages than English, Portuguese, such as German? Yes. Is COR it's based on the cloud, so you can access whenever you are, if you got internet. Yes, with your user and password. If it is available in German, correct. Correct. Any further questions? Thank you. Of course, you can book your personalized demo in case we haven't tackled something that is vital for your operations. Please feel free to reach out, and we're going to get in touch with you as soon as possible. Yeah, and here we got a couple of complementary information that I just talked about. We got live chat through our site, where you can contact our support team. We provide several webinars. You can watch them through YouTube, the video tutorials that I've been mentioning about, a couple of articles, and I would really like to recommend our blog as well, which talks about the business concerns. So I guess that's it. It was a pleasure having you all. Thank you very much for your questions. Again, please feel free to reach out. And hopefully I tackle your doubts and you got to see COR full potential. It was a pleasure. Have a wonderful day. Hopefully we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.